Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And SandyClaws.
And Jacob Wile.
And tonight, we're talking Mr. Banks. That's right, folks. We are back for one third and final time to do a recap of all the announcements and presentations at the D23 2017 event. Now, there's going to be even more coverage of D23 because, you know, it's not like 4 videos is enough, including the one very silly parody video that Monkey and I did. You know, we're going to have Monkey on sometime early next week to talk about his experience. He was there today, but he, you know, needless to say, he's a bit tired out because he was up at 5 a.m. in line. So Monkey will join me sometime next week, hopefully like Monday or Tuesday, to give his trip report, full on, you know, everything he saw, everything he experienced. He met Jim Cummings, guys.
Yeah.
I can tease that much. I can tease that he met Jim Cummings, so we'll see how that goes. I heard that he was in line for the Scrooge McDuck Money Vault. I don't know if he ever got to do the Scrooge McDuck Money Vault, so lots of questions there. Anyways, guys, what we're going to be doing here today is basically going over all the news. Dragon, oh my God, Dragon, you missed a lot yesterday, so of course we need to have you on to kind of cover the bombshells that were dropped yesterday in terms of the park news and the live action news. And we're also going to go over some of the stuff from day one, kind of give our thoughts on it now that a bit of time has passed. But importantly, folks, we're here to, of course, because the day 1 and day 2 podcasts were mostly just about the news and announcements, we figured that on the wrap-up podcast, we could take some time to honor the Disney legends. Now, Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey were both announced as Disney legends, folks, but we want to take the time, you know, because we don't want to cram in everything here. It's, you know, we kind of have to be economic, but we want to take a time to highlight 2 legends from 2 from Star Wars and 2 from Marvel. So let's talk about, first and foremost, the late, great Carrie Fisher. Guys, I'm just getting, like, this is one of those celebrity deaths where it's hard to get over it. It really is. Like, every time I see footage of her in The Last Jedi or anything like that, I'm just like, oh my God, that woman was just so magnificent and she's gone now.
Oh, yeah. They had a really nice little, for all of them, especially Fisher, we had these great little video tributes and like a little highlight reel of their careers in a way, like to build the intro for them, and Fisher's was really good.
Yeah, I remember then how Mark Hamill was like talking about her and talking about like his history with her, like, and how like if she was there, she would have flipped him off twice already.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Something that was really nice is that, well, unfortunately, her daughter Billie Lourd couldn't arrive. You know, she did write a letter.
She wrote a letter. That was nice. Yeah.
And Iger read the letter.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that struck me that was in the letter is the whole that she dreamed of being a Disney princess, and it's so kind of nice that in the end she did become a Disney princess. That's kind of nice.
One of the things that strikes me about these Disney Legend ceremonies for people who are kind of outside of the company are that their whole lives they have been Disney fans. We'll get to that with a wonderful story that Stan Lee tells at the end of this. But yeah, Carrie Fisher, you know, I kind of wish they would, like I said, it's understandable that Billie's not there because she's shooting something. She's shooting American Horror Story. But I don't know. I kind of wish maybe they could have had like maybe George Lucas or Mark Hamill accept the award on her behalf or something like that. I don't know. It kind of my only gripe is it kind of seemed a little like Bob Iger is not the most personable person to be talking about Carrie Fisher. I mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying like it'd be nice to get someone on. It'd be nice to get someone on there who like intimately knew her accepting the award. You know what I mean?
You're right, but here's something that also might have been nice. It would have been nice that maybe Ray could have, you know, if
yeah, that would have been nice.
Daisy Ridley, if Daisy Ridley could have gone, it's kind of like the old generation
passing the torch.
But importantly, kind of because she did have a scene with Carrie Fisher that was would have been kind of a nice little But it would have been nice. But
I mean, I'm not saying like Bob Iger's a horrible person, and he, you know, obviously not. He did the best he could, and he was very nice about it, you know, and he was very well spoken. But I don't know. Okay, so Mark Hamill.
Oh man, I love doing Mark Hamill. So, first of all, just Mark Hamill is just he's so great at Mark Hamill. But here's something that's kind of blew my mind already. Man, I knew had to know it was coming. It might be a Disney legend first, not a Disney first. To be honest with you, Joker involved in something Disney related, because we had the little reel of clips. We had a few clips from the animated series, which with him doing the Joker voice is really nice.
You know, it's really crazy. Like, we've brought this up multiple times, Dragon, but props to Mark Hamill for basically making the Joker a more famous character that he's played than Luke Skywalker.
I knew him as Joker before Luke Skywalker. That's how I knew him.
Talk about like, that has got to be like the best, like, you know, the best defeat of a
iconic character.
No, what I'm trying to say is, God, I'm having a. He's like,
words, Tiki, fish him.
He's like locked into a role. Like, people only cast him for one role. What's the phrase for that? I'm so dumb. Typecasting. Oh my God, I'm so dumb, guys. I'm so sorry. I wanted to say stunt casting, but I knew that wasn't right. So yeah, Mark Hamill, he's a master of just transcending the typecasting. I'm so sorry. I'm embarrassed.
We saw him in various other roles as well, and then we got to see through kind of the Disney, the Disney vein with the Howl's Moving Castle, some of the Miyazaki works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has some, and Hamill just owned the stage. And basically, what Hamill was doing is he was kind of channeling kind of his podcasting self, to quote Kevin Smith. Because what Mark Hamill loves to do, he loves to kind of go into. Mark Hamill's he has a mastery over the obscure of pop culture. He knows pop culture top and bottom, and he knows comics history top and bottom. Like, oh my God, such a wealth of information that Mark Hamill. And I love his first joke when he was up there. When he was up there, he had the award. And his opening line was that because Mark Hamill's a known collector, he says, you know, of all the Disney memorabilia, this one is like top of the heap, essentially. You're saying, oh boy, it's like the best piece of memorabilia ever from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great Lou Gehrig quote, is that, you know, I am my fans, essentially. Like, I am like my fans, a great fan, or something along those lines. You know, quoting Lou Gehrig to kind of summarize his feelings on the event, which is nice. Going over kind of the vast history he's had with Disney, again, early Disney too. That's what's impressive. The Disney comics way back in the day, you know, the comic strips based on Disney. It was kind of cool to hear Mark Hamill speak of Star Tours, and here's something I didn't know. It kind of blew my mind on stage, because I knew he had a son named Nathaniel, but I had no idea that his birth name was Elias. That was amazing.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
All right.
Yeah. But it was great seeing Mark Hamill on stage. I mean, again, if anyone deserves an achievement like that, it's Mark Hamill. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think out of, like, Mark Hamill is definitely the one who's probably, like, the least connected to Disney, but that's like, hey, we bought Star Wars, so.
Hey, I don't have a ton to say. I mean, I never watched any of these videos. I mean,
I sent them to you for a reason, Sandy.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, I have a life other than Disney here. Like you were saying, he's definitely the least connected with Disney, which is honestly, reason why I think he probably, out of anyone here in the bunch, doesn't really.
Don't say he doesn't deserve it, because that's not the right phrasing for it.
I know. That's not the phrasing at all. It doesn't seem like it would suit him. I mean, like I said before, Star Wars legend. He's above them all. He'd be like the first, but. As for a Disney legend, I'm not sure if that's the right category for him.
Like, I think George Lucas is much more tied to Disney than Mark Hamill is. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And as we already discussed, like, Mark Hamill's most famous role is probably not Luke Skywalker, but the Joker. So.
Again, like Mark Hamill, it's rare in the career when you can have two bites at the apple of an
That's what I'm saying,
character that people know of. Because again, it's like competing, like who's more well known, Luke Skywalker or the Joker?
Oh God, has Mark Hamill ever done like a Luke Skywalker versus the Joker like improv riff using those two voices?
In some ways, yes, but it's it's like Joker sometimes made like some Luke Skywalker jokes. He's done the Emperor as the Joker.
Okay.
Kind of talking to Luke. So that's usually what he goes for, like as the Joker as the Emperor.
Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
So should we transition to Jack Kirby?
Yes, the king. Let's
Yeah.
talk of the king. Oh boy, oh boy.
I don't have much to say about it because it was just a very understated presentation. You know, like his son came up, and his son was, like I said, he was a, you know, it was a very like short and sweet speech on the son's behalf. You know, it's just like my father always, you know, always respected Disney and respected the art of animation, and I also love how Jack Kirby's son phrased what Kirby did for the industry. He said, "My father didn't create superheroes." Or people of extraordinary, or you know, like super powered. Like basically, what Jack Kirby did was, I'm sorry, I'm kind of mixing words here, but basically, what Jack Kirby did was he created ordinary people who happen to have superpowers.
Yes, and with that, what I really love in connection to that, what his son says, like we see it in the video itself, and like kind of the reel, is that Kirby is. I love that we actually had archival footage of Kirby. There's not a lot of it out there, but yeah, again, it does exist. And I like the fact that we used it in there. And first of all, I love when it started. We heard the Captain America theme because again, Kirby predates Stan Lee because you know he created Captain America. He's a great Captain America, that dynamic style, which of course he has like always. Kirby always had the great. He was always like a born director on the page, and honestly, he might have been a good film director if he ever kind of branched out. He never did, but I mean, he always had a great sense of action. Where to
I could see that, yeah.
And honestly, when you mention it's like, hey, now we're going to give a tribute to Jack Kirby, then you hear the Alan Silvestri Captain America themes. That's a great entrance for Kirby. Like that's the very beginning of everything of Marvel through him, and then we see these, like all the things he created, Stanley. Marveling at like, oh my god, like yeah, I wish it was just I could take any of these and just say, oh, we on top of everything, we did the Hulk, but no, we did the Hulk, we did a little bit of Iron Man, we did the Avengers, we did Thor, we did so many.
I love how they say, I love how in the intro it's like, and he also did obscure characters, and then we see like the original Groot.
Oh yeah. And what I'm getting at here is at the very end, there's this beautiful thing that Kirby says, and again, so with all the like this kind of this emotion that's building throughout the thing at the very end, it's basically very down there. This Kirby was like the most cool guy ever. He was Ben Grimm. That's who Jack Kirby was. He was a New Yorker. He was a New Yorker from the Bronx, essentially. He said, basically these characters they exist before he drew them. Like he knew these types of people when he put them to the page. That's he was going for the characterization over like he was like drawing a fantastical person. Like these, he strived for the most realistic kind of down to earth characters that could do fantastical things, and ended on the line. I think like these people I've drawn, I didn't come up with them. They exist. I'm basically saying they've already lived. That's like the last thing he says. They've already lived. Oh my gosh, that he's the king always for so many reasons, but he's the king because there's no beating Jack Kirby in terms of like the history of comics. There's.
Hold on, guys, I actually did discover that George Lucas actually was named a Disney legend in 2015.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
But you guys didn't say anything about that. I just said like he didn't know if he did or not.
Oh, no. What I was trying to say is that like George Lucas made more sense than Mark Hamill did. Like when he was. Yeah. My bad. You're right. I didn't really clarify that.
Also, it was nice that his son gave condolences to the Lee family.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And something really nice is like for the Deep Cuts Marvel fans is that the outro music that they played for Kirby leading into the next one was the Merry Marvel Marching Society music. They did like a little day where they all sang this marching song for Marvel, and it's literally like him, Stan Lee, like a choir, was like singing the song, and actually had it play on the way out. Really nice, like a nice little deep cut, like the old days of comics. Really nice.
All right, and let's get to the most choked up I have ever been watching any of these Disney Legends things, and that's watching Stan Lee get the award. Oh my, wow.
One of the most inspirational Stan Lee moments, I got to tell you.
Yeah. Sandy, I'm sorry. This is the one you really should have watched out of all of them.
Oh, yeah, I did see some of it.
Okay, good.
What's really cool is that they actually get really good quality for the Jack Kirby and Stan Lee ones because those were put on the Marvel Entertainment Channel. If you want to see like the best quality of these award, they show the reel, then they show the acceptance speech. So, yeah. Oh boy, it just again we have this fantastic little reel about various cameos worked in there. We have again the beginnings of Marvel. We have various characters. Not only this is impressive too. We got them from Fox and Sony as well. It wasn't just all Marvel Studios.
Right, yeah.
Fox, Sony, Marvel Studios, like and again, it's kind of it's like how we can kind of go a little bit outside Disney on these, because it shows that they're not above like promoting their own brand, but it's beyond like, hey, we're promoting our brand, we're promoting the guys we're talking about here, sort of vibe.
And I think especially with Stan Lee, more so than Mark Hamill or even Carrie Fisher, we got the sense that Stan Lee was really connected to the company his whole career from an artistic point of view.
Oh yeah, and what's also really nice is that I love that we worked. I don't know how last minute it was, or if it was there the whole time. I would like to think it was there the whole time. Is that we do work in? We have a little clip of Joan Lee, and basically we utilize her in the best, most honest way possible. And that they're cutting between the. Oh, this is so sweet too. They're cutting between the two of them. We cut between basically the origin of Marvel with Stan Lee, where we cut with Joan Lee mentioning her advice to Stan, and then Stan saying he then went on to create the Fantastic Four, and then the whole slew of Marvel characters that followed. The origin of the Marvel Universe with those two people.
Mm-hmm.
And just you see Stan, and again, bear in mind, folks, like I want to say
first public appearance since Joan Lee passed away.
I want to say a week has passed. So there's really not a lot of time has passed. It's like a week, maybe a little bit over a week.
10 days.
Exactly. It's like not even like 2 weeks, just like 8 weeks and change. And oh boy, just Stan, he's overcome with emotion. I don't want to say it's entirely because of that, but Stan's really looking. I'm really glad that Stanley was able to get this in such a down.
I am too.
So he's overcome with emotion, but also I think he's overcome emotion for the reasons he says, which is Jack Kirby being honored, because Jack Kirby famously
that was the most touching thing of the whole ceremony for me.
You got to remember, Jack Kirby was really kicked around the comics industry. That's why all the fans, all the people inspired by Jack Kirby always call him the king. Like within the industry, like the other artists and writers, they thought of him as the king. But he was always kind of like shortchanged in terms of payment and rights issues. And honestly, seeing his son accept the award suggests that maybe they sorted some stuff out with the Kirby family in terms of like royalties and stuff. I don't know, maybe not, but it was kind of nice to see him like kind of honor Jack Kirby. And I think Stan was truly touched by that. And of course, Stanley, back in the wartime days, he's always in interviews. He's always talked about a great respect he's had for Walt Disney over the years. He's always looked at Walt Disney. And Tiki, tell him the story.
I mean, I wish I could have it word for word, but basically the story was, I always loved reading, and I would buy these little paperback books, these little cheap books, and then one day I saw a book at the bookstore.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
That was past. It was past what I could afford. It was what you would call a coffee table book, The Art of Walt Disney. And
I have so many of these art of books. It's really got me.
Yeah, I know. And from the moment I saw that book, I knew I had to have it, because back in the day, Walt Disney to me wasn't just a man. He was something to strive for. He was an inspiration. So I saved, and I saved, and I saved, and after a couple months, I bought The Art of Walt Disney. I just love how proud he is when he says that.
It's so beautiful that he became kind of a Walt Disney in his own respect, and now he's being honored by the Disney company. How beautiful is that?
In a way, his life has come full circle.
Absolutely.
You know what? In the Pixar story, in the documentary of the Pixar story, John Lasseter always remarks that there was a art like How to Draw the Disney Way or something. One of those books. It wasn't the coffee table book Stanley's done. That was a like Disney how to or art of book. And I just love the kind of gateway for these Disney-esque figures is through these these Disney books. I think it's amazing. Oh god, it was just so inspiring to see Stan. Again, he's being caught in the emotion of that story. He's going over affording that book when he had like pennies at the time. Building up the money to buy that book, and the pride of which he says it's the most inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the most inspiring Stan moments there when he's we know he's made it. We don't need proof that he's made it, but it's such a great little like
right.
He probably needs it most, and it's a really sweet thing for Stanley. It really is.
Well said.
Oh, no.
All right, so let's recap a couple things we went over on the infamous first night of these recaps. I'm still not thrilled with The Incredibles 2, but I've learned to live with it over the past couple days. I'm like, yeah, we'll see where it goes. Like, I'm begrudgingly to the point of we'll see where it goes at this point. All right, that's about the best you guys are gonna get out of me.
So reportedly, here's some stuff we didn't talk about in Incredibles 2 because, believe it or not, we got sidetracked. With the Incredibles 2, there was a Jack and Bob scene. And here's a few details I learned just looking into Incredibles 2. We didn't go over again, sidetracked. So a few answers to because kind of we're going with the Incredibles that we are following kind of the fantastical and the mundane concept that we have with the Incredibles, which is always great. In that their house was destroyed at the end of the Incredibles, and now they have a new house with kind of like a super lair built into it, which is kind of cool. Them embracing their superhero lives.
That's nice. Yeah.
And the idea, I think, is that Bob's going to have to. It's not exactly child friendly in terms of like the super lair. So Bob's
so basically, the premise of this movie, like you guys know how I really wanted Bob as the father of the bride.
Yeah, we know.
Well, now we're getting Bob as Mr. Mom,
which is kind of cool.
You know what? When you phrase it like that, it makes me feel better about the whole situation. In all honesty, I gotta tell you, because as I said, one of my favorite parts of Pixar and their storytelling is just how they can, take these cliche stories and make them totally not feel cliche, make them feel fresh, and make them, tell these types of stories that we're familiar with in really new ways and really mine a lot of character depth out of them.
One other thing, and this is just something that we can see. Unfortunately, we can't see that Bob Jack scene, as funny as I'm sure it is. We had an Edna Mode teaser, which basically is this fun little video get released. Sandy, have you seen it?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, no.
Basically, it's very simple. So basically, all the giants in the fashion industry. I don't really know any of them. I just know like Heidi Klum. I recognize the name, and like just take like real fashion. We cut the live action fashion icons. We cut to clips of Edna from The Incredibles. And basically, it's like they're saying, "Oh, Edna is our inspiration." We love her. She's the epitome of competition in the fashion world. They're really it's like a mini testimonial to Edna Mode. It's great.
Nice. All right, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think the title is very appropriate because I think this announcement broke the internet to a certain extent. Because I hear so many divided opinions on this.
Yeah, the main revelation is that we have the Oh My Disney reveal. And that Oh My Disney, the website, essentially will be Ralph's gateway into crossing over with other Disney characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty awesome. I think the reason for the debate is just it's a question of how much it's going to be used because Wreck-It Ralph in the first movie there's always a question of underutilizing their vast universe. At the same time, you don't want it to become too Disney versus too Disney over the video games. That's kind of they got to strike a good balance, and hopefully they'll do that with this. So my Disney.
I think the concern is that basically the whole movie is going to be like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit style, which on its own sounds like a cool idea. Like I said, if they did it in kind of the same vein as that Nicktoons movie that's coming out, maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard any updates on that in a while, so I don't know how far into development that is. But
it was canceled.
It was really.
Yeah. They're making the new Arnold movies and Invaders and stuff. So that's kind of what they decided to go.
I've seen some stuff of that Hey Arnold movie. It's looking good.
Well, maybe one day they'll revive that idea because I do think it's a good idea. But that's what I'm saying, though.
It's just like they're just testing the grounds first before they make a full-blown movie out of it.
Yeah.
Jacob, I literally feel like this is testing the waters for Disney Princess Adventures.
Oh God.
Which honestly I would watch the hell out of. All right, I would. I don't care. I'm a grown ass man. I would watch the hell out of a Disney Princess team up movie. All right, that would be awesome to me.
Well, I guess it depends on how you do it. Really.
Mulan could be Black Widow.
Oh God.
I know, not technically a princess. I'm just saying if they wanted to.
It doesn't have to be a superhero thing.
No. That's the thing. I don't want it to be a superhero thing. I just want it to be a team-up movie.
Yeah, it's just them meeting each other, not necessarily them fighting crime.
Yeah.
Just using the Avengers as a way to make it sound familiar.
Right. I still just chuckle to myself every time I think of C-3PO as the handler for the princesses.
We're getting a CD right now. The next step is making a Mickey Mouse movie.
Oh,
Well, again, that was slated. I mean, the Mickey Mouse movie's still in development, from what I heard.
Sandy, I remember you brought that up to do in direct years, and we never did, but we should totally revive that idea to like hypothesize about that.
And I'm still convinced that they're gonna. The reason it's still in development is because they're gonna try to do the Paperman style for it.
Okay, well, let's put a pin on Mickey for now.
All right, let's see. Right back to the Oh My Disney River, of course, really good. Depends what the balance is. You're right. The C-3PO, the Princess Hamlet, does sound hysterically awesome. The thing that we were very really high on was the untitled Pixar film.
I have one bit of information about that.
What do you got?
Okay, basically the premise, from what I understand, is that this is a universe where the fantasy stuff, like the King Arthur and all that, like happened, and it's a part of the reality. So it's kind of like the Good Dinosaur, how with the Good Dinosaur, dinosaurs just never got killed off. It's sort of like an alternate history, you know what I mean? Where like the fantasy elements are just
all right.
Yeah. And so I think basically the general idea for me then is that, like, I'm guessing that dragons were accepted as part of reality, but they're like dinosaurs now. They're extinct, and the kid's going to find one or something. I don't know. I mean, that sounds a little How to Train Your Dragons-esque to me, but I'm just kind of spitballing here based on the very, very loose story idea that we have with the concept. You know, like I said, it's basically like the fantasy and the dragons and everything. I'm not sure if the fantasy elements are still in this world or not, but it sounds to me like they're more going in the direction where the fantasy and the dragons and everything like that are kind of part of the history of this world, not necessarily the current state of this world.
Well, I don't know. My guess is that just being suburban is that it's what if we kept like kind of all the fantasy elements and we basically society grew to a suburban neighborhood, but I'm not saying it's gonna be like updated modern technology necessarily, but I'm saying like what if medieval stuff logically, medieval into the fanciest stuff just kind of stuck around.
Right, yeah, that could be
a suburban kind of mundane. I think could bear a lot of fruit. It could be interesting. Again, maybe the hunt for a dragon could be your kind of Stranger Things incident within kind of the suburban fantasy setting. Again, operating off very little here, folks, so just bear with us.
Yeah, but even though we are operating off very little, I think we can agree that the untitled suburban fantasy film is the most exciting thing to come out of the animation panel.
And I really like Dan Scanlon's work, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, so
I have a detail about the other one.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Toy Story 4. So Josh Cooley directing it. That's the kind of the big shake that people have been talking about. We have a new detail that does. It sounds really interesting. So Josh Cooley's directing. Of course, he's directed a few short films, including he's worked on Inside Out, his story arcs in various Pixar films. He directed the Riley's First Date short. The revelation is that Toy Story 4 will be a road trip, reportedly.
Oh, okay.
And my guess,
I like that.
Wow.
If I were to interpret a possible plot, I would.
It sounds kind of like Toy Story of Terror, but like a movie. You know what I mean? Like Bonnie traveling around, going from hotel to hotel.
Yeah, and yes, Tig, and I think what they might be doing with this is a blind guess. I'm just saying this road trip does open up some interesting possibilities, and I would imagine that while on a road trip with Bonnie, Woody, and Buzz, they have mainly Woody. He somehow catches a glimpse of Bo Peep somehow, and then he's kind of like on a journey within this road trip. If maybe we'll have some flashbacks to how they lost Bo Peep, perhaps, but mainly again we'll see the pursuit of Bo Peep on this road trip. That'd be a guess. That's what I'm guessing based on this. Again, I've heard that. I'm pretty sure this is official that he teased it. That's the thing. You know how serious he was about it, because he said it'll be. He mentioned the road trip and whatever he teased. People can look at the quote somewhere, but Josh Cooley said like I really can't tell you guys anything, but then he like teased road trip.
Nice.
It'd be great to bring Bo Peep back. I'd like that.
Yeah,
Mr. from Toy Story 3.
I hope one of the locations they go to is the dinosaurs that Riley and her parents visited in Inside Out.
Oh, that'd be neat, and it could also be a settlement to Good Dinosaurs.
Exactly. It'd be like all tying the Pixar stuff together.
Honestly, what it could also be with this road trip detail. One last thing to factor into it, if not like a road trip pursuit, it could be that I'm saying they'll probably still factor in it, but I'm saying what if the point of Genesis was that Bo Peep was lost? We don't know exactly what happened to Bo Peep. What if she was lost on a road trip?
Yeah, because that's the
Which
thing.
happens
It's
with
like
toys. It's another like logical.
for all the ways that you could lose a toy in this franchise, I don't really think we've explored the idea of losing a toy on vacation before.
Exactly. Again, it makes so much sense as kind of a facet of toys, and we've kind of teased something a little bit like that with Toy Story of Terror with the Sleepwell Motel. It's just kind of at a motel.
Wouldn't it be great if Bonnie, her mom, went to Disneyland, they got lost at Disneyland? Okay.
That actually kind of reminds me that one of the rumored plots for the Teacher's Pet movie was going to be a road trip to Disney World.
They probably got that.
I'm saying that would be the entire movie, just a section.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like with Wreck-It Ralph 2. I don't want Disney to just go into this super corporate.
Yeah.
Like with Wreck-It Ralph 2, it might work because it's going to be very meta, but
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you make a good point.
And the whole Disney princess thing is just a cameo anyway.
Can I just lay out one possibility that I want to see here? I want to see them go to a big city and visit a pizza planet, but it's like a way bigger version of the pizza planet that we saw in Toy Story 1.
Oh, so it's like a New York Disney store.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be cool.
Right? Like a huge pizza planet.
It could be the original Pizza Planet.
Like it's a 2-story deal.
It could be like the original Pizza Planet.
Right.
That would be interesting because again, we did go to Pizza Planet in the first one. It's been a long time since we've ever been.
It'd be great to get some more backstory on Pizza Planet, man. Especially like, I hate to bring this up.
I think you mean more world building with Pizza Planet, but yeah.
Well, I guess so. But I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just taking like what Jacob's saying. Like, yeah, what if it was the first Pizza Planet? Like, what if we got like even just like little newspaper clippings on the manager's office or something like that? Like, I don't know.
Well, you gotta remember Pizza Planet, and again, mainly I'm thinking Toy Story 2, but I'm also I guess I'm thinking a lot of the other tease that Cooley had was that in he confirmed a line from the movie. Ooh, from the aliens. Didn't really quote that, Josh Cooley. That's what.
Spoiler alert.
I don't know how facetious he was being. He might have said that first confirmed thing. It might have been maybe the movie opens with "Ooh." That'd be interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if
that'd be interesting. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, again, if you want to be serious about it, it could open with the rescue from Toy Story 3 if they kind of there's like a jumping off point.
That'd be great. That'd be great to see the rescue from their perspective. I could see that.
I don't know. Again, there's possibilities.
Okay.
Anyway, let's I think it's all. We can speak about Toy Story 4 all day. We need more details.
What I'm curious about is how they're gonna kill Mr. Potato Head.
Kill Mr. Potato Head?
No, deal with
the
fact that the voice actor died.
Yeah, Don Rickles.
I mean, Jim Varney also died.
Well, no, it's reported that they shot. They had his. I thought it was reported that they have his recordings already.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
I thought that was recorded, but then again, it might be hope that I had. I can't quite recall. I could have sworn that there was an announcement that came out that they do have his lines recorded.
I mean, some sources say that he didn't record anything.
Well, again, folks, unfortunately, so many of the greats are dying these days. Again, I might be thinking of Adam West possibly. So again,
because Adam West, it's like, we do know for sure
that's the
Cape Crusaders.
That's the sad fact that we would confuse that. It's kind of hard to track that sort of thing now because it's happening too often.
And also, rest in peace, George Romero.
Yes, and Martin Landau.
Martin Landau. I know. Oh my God,
I loved him. I loved him in Ed Wood. He was so good. In Ed Wood.
Ed Wood is his defining performance.
Oh God, he was so good in that movie, and he was good in The Majestic too. If you've ever seen it. Anyway, we're getting off the topic of a tragedy.
I didn't even hear about Landau.
Oh, I know, it's terrible. Anyway.
Okay, so Star Wars. So you like Star Wars?
Like Star Wars?
Yeah, I do.
ATSTs. It broke no ground.
Okay. Oh, we're never going to get over that. We're going to be like quoting that thing when we're old men.
Tiki.
What?
Look, a peach.
Oh God. Okay.
Not so much.
Yeah. Right.
I'll pretend I understood the reference. I'll pretend I understood that reference.
Way to
It was
shut
from
me
the
down.
Toy Story. It was from the Toy Story podcast, Jacob.
All right.
Anyways,
Movie, but
no, it was Toy Story. It was Toy Story because I saw the James and the Giant Peach trailer before Toy Story.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Look, a peach. Anyways. Oh, man. Okay, so yeah, Star Wars, guys, I don't want to get my hopes up too high for this thing, but I think Ryan Johnson is delivering exactly what I was hoping he would deliver when I heard he signed on for this. Because everything I've heard about the interviews from, like basically Mark Hamill, like just Mark Hamill saying like, for as long as I've been with this franchise, they're pushing this story into directions that I never thought possible. I was like, oh, Johnson, he's doing something special here if he's got Hamill saying that.
I bet you we're going to hear Bryan Cranston as a stormtrooper. I bet you.
Oh God!
It's like it's like how all the various stormtrooper cameos.
Oh man!
I mean, Kevin Smith was in Force Awakens. Why can't we get Cranston? Come on!
I wouldn't be surprised if they brought him in.
Exactly.
Or like Joseph Gordon-Levitt from Looper.
Yeah, sure.
Or Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Maybe not Bruce Willis, but
probably not Bruce Willis.
Tiki, what if The Rock randomly cameos as a stormtrooper, takes off his helmet, and winks at the camera?
Oh God! All right, like I could handle The Rock, like
and then nothing else happens.
What if we just had a really buff stormtrooper, just like?
Yeah, that's the thing I could handle. Like I could handle because that'd be a visually interesting thing, like a stormtrooper that's way buffer than everyone, because it could happen, right? It could happen. But like if he takes off his helmet and waits to the audience, it's like no.
Who's it's like hey stormtrooper? Who's that guy? Oh yeah, that's that's Chet. Yeah, he really works out. Hey, we're naming each other now. That Finn guy, he went with FN, so we're just naming everyone now because we're just tired of being numbers and letters.
Yeah, the thing that intrigued me the most, besides like the story stuff that everyone's talking up, like how Ryan Johnson is just really being visionary with the story, which sounds like Ryan Johnson to me. Like he's damn good at story.
I'll direct you visually to what he's doing with that first shot from that trailer we got. Again, like the ground turning into space. I mean, space turning into the ground.
And the thing that I've been hyping up, the whole idea of like the wounded bird for the X-Wings that are crashing. I honestly think is going to be a visual motif throughout the movie. The more and more I see of it. I'm super excited about the creature designs, man. Just, oh my God, there were so many creatures in this little 2 minutes of footage that we got.
Let me say this. I really hope this is a tradition. So far, it seems to be a tradition. I hope we keep going with it because it's really nice. We have these behind the scene reels. Because
we had one last year at Star Wars Celebration for Rogue One.
Yeah, and we may have had one for Force Awakens. May have.
I don't remember that far back.
The thing with Rogue One is it didn't really have as many creatures in it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I'm glad you bring that up, Sandy, because I think with Rogue One, everyone was disappointed because they were expecting a trailer. I think with this, it's like we know we're going to get a trailer soon, probably by Comic-Con, right? Like probably by the end of the summer. But this is just like, I thought this was a much better sizzle reel than the Rogue One sizzle reel was.
Oh yeah.
But that Ryan Johnson one. What's weird is that it's probably understandable, but Ryan Johnson wasn't there for this. At least I hope he makes it to Comic-Con.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I like how really these behind the scene reels. It's kind of neat. They have like a great tone to them. Like the opening line was really great. Like the opening line with Anthony Daniels saying, "Oh yeah, well basically
he's like, wow. When we first started, we didn't even have a number."
Oh god, that's a great way. And we fade out from. That's how you start behind the scenes. That's how you do it.
Let's see. I love
Rey's new Jedi look, which looks kind of neat.
I love John Boyega joking around like Ryan doesn't know any Wookiee sounds. He needs to work on his Wookiee sounds.
They have some amazing animatronics with the creatures.
Somebody made a joke that's like, so that's why Lord and Miller were fired. They didn't know how to make Wookiee sounds.
God. Yep, that explains it. That's it, Jacob. You hit it right on the head.
Ron Howard must do an amazing.
Oh God.
I mean, I'll admit I didn't come up with that comment. Somebody on YouTube did.
Yeah.
And of course, we ended on Fisher, which was nice. Yeah, it's appropriate.
Oh
It's
god,
like
yeah.
a family
I mean that is
so.
just clearly meant to like tug at the heartstrings, but it works so well. It's all about family, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
And also, importantly, we get that little post credits with Admiral Akbar saying, "It's a wrap," which is amazing. I didn't even notice that post credits thing until today.
I honestly, I didn't see it, so I'm just hearing this for the first time. Are you saying it's actually Admiral Akbar?
Yeah, it's actually Admiral Akbar. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not. I don't think it's like the actor.
That's the thing, because he passed away.
It looks like the character though. It looks like Akbar.
Yeah, it's at least a suit.
Yeah, and he's saying it's a wrap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, they may have recorded some stuff with him. I don't know.
It could be. It could.
I hate being in this position of like thinking that we have
I know,
to consider
right?
this
Like
I
just
terrible.
don't
This is the third guy.
I just don't want to quote. Yeah, I just don't want to say it definitively either way. You know.
Sure.
And then also, Dragon, I'm not sure. Like, I made the comparison last night that it looked like there was an alien casino.
Yes, I heard that was one of like the worlds. Like, there's going to be a casino world, which looks good. And that one shot
sounds so amazing.
When I saw it, I think, is that the casino or is that a bar, like a cantina type location? I like the casino cantina. The casino cantina fusion. That's really kind of a neat idea.
Like, yeah, the casino is a great way to kind of get like the vibe of a cantina scene without just being like, hey, look, it's Star Wars, so we have to have a cantina scene.
It's going to be so neat if we have this. Imagine this. Luke takes Rey into this, like, basically the cantina from Luke would most likely be this casino. Basically being he's now the Obi-Wan, like, cutting the thing's arm off. And
oh my god, yes.
Cutting Ponda Baba's arm off and like the new cantina type vibe. Like, he's basically, I'm not saying we do
Ponda Baba's other arm off.
no. Bobby's still alive.
Well, I mean, there's nothing saying he didn't get killed. I mean,
oh my god, that would be so great. Just because
honestly, I go by the robot chicken thing with Ponda Baba because I think it's hysterical. That once he got his arm cut off,
poor guy.
He was an architect and he got his arm cut off.
There you go.
That's the one I go with personally. I think that's pretty. I can buy that. I can buy that in the Star Wars universe. Ponda Baba has a day job.
And Pondu Babu. Okay.
But no, if not that, like he's like leading her into one of these like denizens of scum, villainy, and crime, and then basically kind of he has to get her out of a situation. Just mentor her through a situation. Kind of needs. All right.
I just love the look of the aliens in suits.
Yeah,
I mean, you would think it would be out of place, but for some reason it just works. Visually, it just works. And that's one of
this might sound.
That's one of the things that I think Rian Johnson is really going for is like doing things visually that you wouldn't expect in the Star Wars universe, like aliens wearing suits and ties, but just pulling it off where it just feels like it's always been in the Star Wars universe. All right, I'm sorry, Dragon, go ahead.
Well, speaking of visuals, this is going to sounds really simple, but it just looked really cool. Maybe because again, you're so hyped up seeing some of the things they're shooting here, but C-3PO with the light up eyes in darkness looks really cool.
I also love the shot we got of Daisy Ridley running with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like, that totally is, like, they're obviously going to do, like, some sort of Rocky-style montage at some point.
This is something kind of cool. We saw Kylo Ren, he got his helmet back, or at least maybe like a new helmet. So the point is we're going to have both, the unmasked. And I had some, I couldn't tell if he was, like, fixed or if those are going to be flashbacks because he has, like, an appliance on that's probably going to be, like, CG the scars and stuff on him.
I'm pretty sure that Kylo Ren is going to just be the face the whole movie. I don't think he's going to have any sort of, like, helmet here covering himself up.
Yeah, there were a bunch of different helmets they had laid out on a tape.
No, I'm saying we saw like him in the helmet in the
really
thing. So I'm saying I don't know like if he's going to get a new one. Basically, I'm sure like at certain point he's going to lose it throughout. He's going to lose it. He's going to go like I don't think he's going to be like. Honestly, yeah, kind of like Force Awakens, but earlier in the movie, where once he takes off the helmet, he's not going to put it back on for the rest of the movie, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first trailer, it showed that his helmet was completely shattered.
Yeah. So I'm thinking a new helmet. That's the only way I can explain. Unless it's a flashback, which would
I
be.
mean, I think we might get a new helmet, but we'll see more of his face. Like his face won't be completely covered up like it was last time. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to ditch the helmet early on. Is what I'm saying. But I mean, it won't last throughout the thing. I mean, again, with all the scars, you got to show those scars off. So you're going to
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
They'll probably have a dramatic like a scar reveal, like his scars have gotten worse than something.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, and it's just going to be interesting, right? Because like I was not a fan of the way that they did the face reveal in the first movie, where it's like, oh, I mean, I think at least he should have had some helmet hair, right? Like, I don't mind the fact that he's like a boyishly attractive guy. It's just his hair looked too perfect when he took off that helmet. That was the thing that bothered me. But I think you could retroactively fix that by making more of an emphasis on Kylo Ren's face throughout the movie, like making his face a visual motif as it gets more and more scarred up, and as his face starts to look, and and Kylo Ren gets more and more into the dark side, which just affects him more and more. I don't know. I think you could do some pretty cool visual stuff.
I'll bet you, like the third act or the end of Act 2, then he's going to go like the glowing yellow eyes and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I think that could retroactively fix the problem I had, and also, almost kind of like make it a really cool visual idea in The Force Awakens to see him look so, so, for lack of a better word, so much like a pretty boy when he first takes off his mask.
Oh, I can imagine a really cool scene where, like, let's say at the end of Act 2, he has like that going on. And then he has a scene with Leia, and Leia's just horrified by what her son's become.
Oh, yes.
How great could that be?
Oh, God. All right. So, yeah, it's clear we like Star Wars.
So Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So you like Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Okay, I have a question that I'm genuinely curious about. So do you guys like A Wrinkle in Time?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel as well.
It looks has some good shots in it.
Looks interesting.
I like the looks of the trailer and the director's work. So,
well, I don't like I've seen some of the directors now. Again, she did 13th on
Ooh.
Which I'm much. It was so funny. Just recently, I was watching OJ Made in America. It's like, man, this is so much better than 13th.
You were so relieved when that won over 13th.
I was so worried 13th was going to.
I know.
I've seen that thing. That thing is just that's so uninteresting. OJ Made in America is
all right, Drake. Let's not get political with this, all right? But
I'm just saying one movie better than the other. That's all I'm saying.
Jacob.
I think she also did Selma.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she directed Selma.
Oh, that's cool.
I've not seen Selma.
That kind of fills my confidence in a little bit more on this.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we have Jennifer Lee writing. That was the main thing I was kind of raising my eyebrow. Like, okay, we're adapting a novel, and she's gonna be writing on it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like, this is one of the books that like when you're in school and different classes read different books.
Yep.
Like, you'll hear your class. Like, I remember when I was in high school, one of my classes read The Great Gatsby, but I wasn't in a class that read The Great Gatsby, so I read The Great Gatsby on my own. A Wrinkle of Time was like that for me. Like, there were several classes in my elementary school that had read Wrinkle in Time, but I wasn't ever in one of the classes. And instead, I got stuck with shit like Bridge to Terabithia, which is a good book, but traumatizing as hell. Anyways, or like shit like Where the Red Fern Grows, where both the dogs die at the end. Spoiler alert. Just the most tragic shit.
I don't know. I don't know if any of my other classmates read, any of my other my classrooms read Wrinkle in Time. I know it was like something you could read, but I don't think it was ever a requirement. We did read Bridge to Terabithia, though.
Right, like Where the Red Fern Grows. Yeah, let's read about a child who falls on his own axe, and then read about dogs dying.
Yeah, Where the Red Fern Grows was not a fun children's book at all.
As someone who's walked the Gatsby path, I gotta tell you, I avoid all of those sad stories.
Dude, The Great Gatsby, how good is The Great Gatsby book?
That's good.
Anyways, so yeah, like I said, like I have zero connection to any of this. Like, I knew about the books as a kid, and when I see this trailer, I am just like, this all looks 100% foreign to me.
The music choice was good, and it was very eerie.
It just reminds me of X-Men Apocalypse, though. I mean, it's not the fault of the trailer, but it's just kind of like that's in my mind.
I mean, sure, a good song though.
Yeah.
Again, it's really I'm going on this tag because I have no idea what the source material is. Honestly, the trailer doesn't really communicate anything what the story's about. Just okay,
no, that's the
Chris
thing.
Pine's scientist father, sci-fi eeriness, and Oprah.
Yeah.
I'm just honestly glad they didn't use the Marilyn Manson version of the song.
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you, I'm not really stoked for this thing. I might skip it in theaters unless it gets really good reviews.
I have no interest in that at all. So.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but you know what I do have interest in? Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, this is actually something I forgot to bring up when we were doing our podcast last night about the day 2 stuff. I don't have many details about this, but what I do know is they did show what amounted to a teaser trailer. Basically, it's the teaser trailer starts with a shot of Emily Blunt like coming down from the clouds on the umbrella, which can't wait. Apparently there's like they show credits in like the same style as like the 1960s Disney movie credits.
Yeah, I saw.
It's like you know, like the letters over a matte painting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so
Emily
there's a
Blunt's
clip
like
on.
Emily Blunt's a great choice for Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Julie Andrews seems to think so.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm so thrilled that Dick Van Dyke is coming back.
However, I don't think he's playing Bert.
No, he's not.
I
He's
wouldn't expect him to. I'm just like, coming back just so we can see him on screen with, that same kind of.
You know what Dick Van Dyke should do? He should play Mr. Banks. Or not Mr. Banks, I'm sorry. He should play the bank teller guy that he played in the first movie.
I think he's playing young Mr. Dawes.
Yeah,
Mr. Dawes.
Yeah, you see something, Mr. Dawes. I think that's the one.
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense then because he actually did play that role in the first movie.
Dick Van Dyke is Mr. Dawes Jr.
Yeah, because he played Mr. Dawes Sr. in the first movie, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So at the very least, he's playing a character that he's tied to.
Wait, is that who he's playing then?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Mr. Dawes.
Now,
Jr.
are we getting Bert at all in this movie, or is Bert just not going to be involved?
It's not confirmed.
I haven't seen anything about like Bert casting. But
I would love it if we just had a cameo by Dick Van Dyke as an old Bert.
But
that'd be great.
He is cast as a different character.
Yeah, old Bert reuniting with Mary Poppins. That'd be,
Right.
that'd
Oh
be
my
so
god.
cool.
Oh my god.
Here's what I do know. So I know Julie Andrews. She's.
I'm just saying because after all, goodbye, Mary Poppins. Don't stay away too long.
That's what I'm saying, man. That'd be so powerful. Oh my god. Oh god, Jesus Christ, Jacob, you hit me right in the feels there. Anyways.
Yep.
I have my moments.
Dragon, you seem like you're desperate to say something.
Yeah, a few details I do have. One, on YouTube they do this one thing where basically it's like a reveal of Emily Blunt in like a forward view. It feels very 60s-esque, like basically like the reveal of the umbrella and just seeing her in the full garb, and there have been a few shots available, just like her with the umbrella out, like up in the belly, basically post-landing. It's set during the Depression, set 20 years after the original.
Mm-hmm.
And Colin Firth, if I'm right, is the bank teller. If not a new bank, he's like I want to say he works for the bank, and he's Colin Firth. That's good casting. It's getting him in there. It feels like a classic.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Yeah.
I have more faith in it than I originally did. I got to tell you, based on like what I've heard. So,
and of course, I believe that obviously Lin-Manuel Miranda's character is going to be kind of like the stand-in for the Bert character.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. He's like has top billing. It's like he has a character called Jack.
Yeah, and he's a street lamp lighter.
So if this takes place 20 years after the original movie, then Dick Van Dyke couldn't play Bert. He's too old.
I guess that's true. Damn it. Anyways, digital man. We saw what Marvel can do.
I suppose. I don't want to see Dick Van Dyke with a bunch of visual makeup on though.
Anyways,
I want to see Dick Van Dyke as Dick Van Dyke. Not.
Well, if they are doing that, then they're keeping it under wraps. Because that would be a surprise. They could work in there and just pull in that Marvel Star Wars magic of young actors.
No,
I want to see. I mean, look at the beginning. I mean, check out the beginning of Ant-Man. Look what they were able to do with Michael Douglas.
That's what I'm saying.
Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War at the very beginning.
Okay, the only other thing I want to highlight is everything I've heard about the footage seems to be like the musical numbers in this thing look like they're big, like La La Land style, like lavish, like people dancing in the streets. It looks like they're going all out for the musical numbers.
And Julie Andrews.
I mean, they have a pretty good team. They have Mark Shaman and his partner with it in the movie, doing the music, Scott Whitman.
And then, of course, the director of Chicago is directing this, Rob Marshall.
Oh yeah.
sorry, guys. We seem to be talking over each other this evening. This is kind of Dragon. You seem
Yes. One thing I mentioned, Julie Andrews says she will not be making a cameo appearance because she doesn't want to steal any thunder from Emily Blunt. It's kind of a classic turning down of a cameo.
I completely respect that decision.
She's really thrilled about Emily Blunt, it seems.
Yeah, she approves of Blunt's casting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also one last thing to mention is that I heard that we do see in the trailer a bit of the animation mixed with the live action.
Oh, if it's 2D, oh,
from what I've heard, it is 2D.
It has to be. It has to be 2D, or it's wrong.
Yes.
There's no point in it.
I mean, I'm sure it was made with computers, but from what I've heard, it very much looks like 2D.
Because obviously CG would be the biggest mistake if they tried doing that effect with CG. Because the idea, CG of course trying to mimic reality, and it would not.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure what it is CG, but it's meant to look like 2D animation.
You know what I mean? If it's like like 3D computer
maybe.
animation versus the 2D.
Right.
Probably drawn in Toon Boom or something.
Yeah, sure. Like probably in the same style as something like Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Yeah, sure.
It needs to look. And I guess it needs to look like the original. I mean, I feel that it needs to have those I don't want to say like pencil sketchy look because it really doesn't have that. You know what I'm talking about? Just it needs to have the hand drawn feel to it.
Sure.
They had a really good transition. But we can't use it because we got to talk about something else before we get to that.
Okay. So Aladdin then?
Yeah.
All right. So they cast a couple of relatively unknowns for the roles of Aladdin and Jasmine.
Well, 2/3, yeah.
Specifically Aladdin is a guy who I don't think has any screen credits.
I looked at him though. He looks good by him as Aladdin. I'm looking at him. I don't know.
I think it's a smart
I think
it's a smart decision to have an unknown as Aladdin, of course.
Well, it's been on the Disney Channel I read and a few other things.
And then the actress playing Jasmine, she's been in a couple small TV shows, but she's almost as unknown as Aladdin is.
I mean, I think it's nice. I think they're trusting these smaller names with these characters that everybody loves, and it's like shows that like as long as if they feel the part, why not?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like it's the Superman casting. They want the unknown, someone who can kind of embody the role. It's always kind of the smart path to go if you're like bringing in an iconic character.
That worked out really well with Mowgli in the Jungle Book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a smart move, and I understand this move that we're getting a big name star for the genie. I get that.
You're not happy with it though, are you?
Basically this explains the dispelled rumors of Will Smith and Dumbo. Absolutely.
Yes.
So Will Smith as the genie. I could see it, but I'm saying I'm very surprised. Honestly, they didn't go with the instant obvious move to go to The Rock. Tiki and I are really pulling this ridiculously for the Jonathan Banks as the genie.
Yeah, but I knew that was never going to happen.
I'm saying that was for a different type of genie. That was like going for
right,
like a reinvention.
I'm just gonna come out and say, you know what I love to see the genie?
Who?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, that'd be good.
My God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I never thought of that before.
And he could kind of do a little bit of like a lighter Beetlejuice with
it. My God, exactly. Yes. Oh,
that'd be great.
I would love that.
That would be
wonderful. Because I know what they're doing with Will Smith is they're not actually going to have Will Smith. They're going to have his voice, but I think like Will Keaton as like Will Keaton in the flesh.
Will Keaton.
What do I say now?
You said the unholy love child of Michael Keaton.
Will Keaton.
Michael Keaton. Yeah, of course, CG and stuff, but I think that'd be great.
I'm with you. I love that casting choice, and that's what I'm saying. Like, be kind of something a little bit. I think a little bit more well-found. Will Smith just feels like a star power casting. I mean, I know we're going for a little bit of that, but it just feels like, hey, he was. I mean,
quite frankly, Michael Keaton would be the same way.
No, I think Michael Keaton is Like, sure, Keaton is kind of like on the radar, but I think Will Smith is like Keaton is definitely A-list talent, but I think Smith is like an A-list celebrity, if that makes any.
It almost feels like with Will Smith, we need to channel like an era of Will Smith, where Michael Keaton, honestly, like, has never really lost in the sense. Like Will Smith is kind of. I mean, to be fair, Men in Black 3 kind of brought back kind of. He never really has changed the Jay character in the Men in Black franchise. He's always been kind of like the same characterization. And which is kind of classic Will Smith. So he's able to keep classic Will Smith alive, but it's been a while since we've kind of seen classic Will Smith. So I don't know.
Yeah, I trust in Will Smith, and I'm not going to totally diss the idea, but you know,
it doesn't kill the movie or anything. It's just like it's surprised by it. That's all.
I mean, it's kind of an unorthodox casting choice, but we'll see how it goes.
I mean, I get why they chose. They're going for kind of like the silly.
As I said last night, though, I think it's a much better casting decision than Johnson would have been. Because I think if they cast Dwayne Johnson as the genie, then Disney would just seriously run the risk of just like
if they cast Dwayne Johnson as the genie, then that was
like he'd be playing Maui again.
He would,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like that. It's so.
Plus the fact that he's been so much lately.
And he's not really had the best career trajectory in the last year or so because Baywatch bombed and people aren't really looking forward to Jumanji. So
they're really not looking forward to Jumanji.
Right. So, anyways.
I mean, yeah, again, Will Smith, he could do good with it. He's a little bit more evidence of it.
As I said, I think, what I think Will Smith could do, Dragon, is that I do think that Will Smith could bring some of that, like, cynicism that we want from this version of the genie, because that's the thing. I think it'd be a huge mistake if this genie was like the improv-y, like jokes a mile a minute style genie that Robin Williams was. That'd be a huge mistake. You can't
obviously if and like part of me feels like if they did The Rock, they might have tried for that, which it makes the Will Smith feel a little bit of a better casting choice, I guess.
Yeah, because I think with the Will Smith thing, the humor is going to come less from like all the mile a minute jokes and more from just Will Smith's natural charisma. Yeah, but I do think from roles like Hancock and I Am Legend, Will Smith is also really good at at kind of showing an emotional kind of like troubled side of himself at the same time. So I don't know. I think the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of on board with it.
Here's the scene for me. It's going to really shape like how good a genie he could be. If they do this scene just right. If they do the scene where he talks about wanting to be free as a genie, that's the big scene with the genie. Even with Ron Williams, as great and flamboyant as he was with the genie, he has that really great moment where he's like saying, well, what would you wish for? And he says, me. No one's ever. It's been thousands of years. No one's ever asked me that, just to be freedom, to be free. Phenomenal cosmic power, to be living space. So the sad dimension to the genie is like a really human moment in the midst of all this comedy that kind of shrugs off. You can capture that moment, then you have a good genie on your hands.
We don't know what this character is going to look like, do we?
No idea, really.
The real question is, are they going to go blue or not? That's the real question.
Another thing is, like, is it going to be a musical or is it going to be like
I'm sure it will be.
I'd imagine a musical, but
I don't know. I think there's a possibility it won't be.
Oh yeah.
I think Aladdin's the type of movie that would. I think Aladdin's the type of movie that doesn't need to be a musical because there's so much action and adventure in Aladdin.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it would be an interesting kind of new take on it without being a music. Because again, Aladdin's such an iconic film in so many respects. That's kind of the balance I really need to examine with these adaptations.
I think that's the failure of Beauty and the Beast. The failure of Beauty and the Beast was the fact that
I honestly think the original are you.
I honestly think Beauty and the Beast is kind of like this decade's like Psycho remake. It just feels pointless, and like Beauty and the Beast is my least favorite movie of the year for that reason. So, anyways,
okay. Speaking of remakes,
yeah, Dragon. If you want to just pretend that we were talking about Mary Poppins Returns. To use that transition?
Sure. No, that was my. I just.
That was your transition. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying I had the whole new one with the remake thing. I was just gonna use that instead of
Right.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Except technically, Mary Poppins Returns is a sequel, not a remake.
Well, I know. I had a different thing. I just changed it for this one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I can't remember what it was now because we moved on.
I just butchered the African language.
And you are related to Tiki.
Oh, I'm gonna go back and listen to that now.
All right.
Well,
So,
this thing's recorded, so you will be able to listen to it eventually.
okay, so I love how Jon Favreau has just become the giant cock tease of D23.
I wouldn't really phrase it like that, but you know.
It's true, though. It's totally true. I mean, Dragon, I vividly remember, and I'm sure you do too, when D23 2015 came around, and everyone was buzzing about the Jungle Cruise footage, and none of us got to see that Jungle Cruise footage until like months later. And
Cruise?
You keep saying cruise, Tiki. Do you mean book?
oh, book, yeah. I'm sorry. My bad.
Jungle Cruise.
And so now this movie's even further out, so I bet you it's going to be at least a year before we see this footage.
So I had no idea if there was any footage or not. I
It's
know
literally just the Circle of Life.
like the footage or
basically-
the song.
There's a whole footage, all the footage.
Okay.
But they basically
Alright.
recreated the entire opening in the style of the Jungle Book.
That's cool. So all I really know about this, it was promised to emulate the original, like fantastically, just really very much they're using the same technologies they had in the Jungle Book for this.
Yep, that's what I just said.
Well,
Pretty much
I'm saying,
everybody. And pretty much everybody who saw it said that basically their mouths just dropped and
Yeah. Apparently, Rafiki in particular looks amazing, which I can believe because the apes in the Planet of the Apes movies look incredible. So
we have Jeff Nathanson working on this. He did Catch Me If You Can, so that's going to be interesting to see.
Mhm. Also, I just want to clarify that Hugh Jackman has not been confirmed for Scar yet. It's just heavily rumored. So I'm sorry. I implied last night that he was confirmed, but that was false. So just
There was
put that out
some
there.
good casting.
I mean, in the messages, I did tell you that it wasn't fully confirmed.
I
yet.
know. I'm sorry.
I heard it was dispelled that it's not the case, but again, they might be throwing off smoke on that, as you guys.
Uh-huh.
Here's voice casting week.
He'd still be a great choice.
Well, of course. Honestly, I was kind of surprised they didn't go with things together. So it'd be great for it. But there's one voice cast. They got a really strong cast. I don't really know who. I don't recognize who's playing Timon, but I do love who they got for Zazu. I love John Oliver. He's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, just trust me for Zazu.
I'm
it kinda
not,
seems-
I'll just say I'm not a fan of John Oliver's politics. I mean, his comedy is fine, I guess. I don't know.
I'm thinking mostly the comedy, but regardless, John Oliver, I think he has the right voice for Zazu.
He does. And then I also love Seth Rogen as Pumbaa. That's going to be great.
Yeah, that's
Choice.
I hope they do get them to sing Hakuna Matata.
Oh, I'm sure they will. They've got to.
Yeah. If they did Circle of Life, they're doing Circle of Life, they're gonna have to do.
Oh yeah. This movie's going to go all out with the musical numbers, and I'm sure they'll probably even work in some musical numbers from the Broadway show as well.
I mean, I hope it's not a shot-for-shot remake, of course, but still.
It sounds like it's going to be kind of a shot-for-shot remake, but
You don't want to overdo it on the musical numbers, you know. I mean, if you have songs from the original movie plus the play, I don't know.
I'd like to think they're going the Jungle Book route where we'll change certain things, but we'll still keep it, like kind of a new, a faithful experience.
I think the iconic, much like the Jungle Book, I think the iconic scenes will be as shot as possible. Like, we'll have moments that will feel shot by shot, like, in the Jungle Book with Baloo and Mowgli going down the river. You know what I mean?
I guess one thing I really kind of want to see is the wildebeest stampede.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. That's got to be a big set piece for sure. Oh,
I
my
would
God.
love it if they cut out the what's that crap?
They kind of already had a wildebeest stampede in Jungle Book.
Jungle Book, yeah.
So I mean, it'd be kind of like a secondary thing.
Dragon, are you thinking of I Just Can't Wait to Be King?
No, the other one, the one with Nala and Simba crap.
Oh, Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah, that one.
There's no way they're
that's
cutting
what.
that. There's no way. No way. I'm not even saying that as a fan of the song. I'm just saying that because it's the most commercially successful song on that soundtrack.
Are you sure that's the most successful
Oh
song
yeah.
on that soundtrack?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's like sold a lot. It won the most awards of this song.
Yeah, it sold the most singles. Yeah, it's by far the most successful
Did that
song.
good?
Yeah.
That song did that
Yeah.
good?
Honestly, I have the same reaction as Dragon right now. Out of all the songs,
I mean, you still hear that song on the radio.
I mean, a lot of the popularity also came from the Elton John single, though. That
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Jacob. Yeah, you still hear the Elton John single on the radio.
Darn you. Darn you, John, for having a name that carries cachet. Darn you.
My only hope with Can You Feel the Love Tonight is that they'll make it more natural, and like Simba and Nala will actually be, communicating to each other and not just the weird, like, they're thinking about each other. Like, I think they can definitely improve that scene.
Donald Glover, I have a renewed interest in Simba, I gotta tell you, within Simba. That could be really good.
Because of his 5 minutes in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Well, no, I'm just saying Donald Glover's a good actor.
I'm sorry, I'm ripping you. Anyways. The only other thing I have to say about The Lion King is I firmly believe that if they just put out one single trailer, that's just the Circle of Life scene and nothing else, that would be one of the best marketing campaigns ever.
It would.
That would just, that's all you need to sell the movie. Anyways. Okay, so let's go to the kind of the big show-stopping thing from the Disney live-action panel, the Infinity War, which I have a lot more details about than I did last night.
I have a lot of details too.
Well, why don't you take us through, because you probably know it better than I do.
Well, first off, we got some footage.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, again, to my vast annoyment, we cannot see this footage. As amazing as it sounds, I'm going off the description here. Tiki, if you have any more specifics, I'm just going to broad spectrum.
Okay.
If you have any specifics, by all means, just jump in with them. But here's the footage from what I've understood, is that here are like the big money shots, if you will, kind of the big moments. We have Thor meeting the Guardians, basically kind of crashing into I want to say he's like crashing, if not into the Milano, into a ship, and basically who are you guys? And he's like Mantis over him, and like he's looking at Mantis first, like, who are you guys? And basically that's kind of there. Meet each other, possibly.
I can't wait to see this.
Let's see. We have Spider-Man. Now, what I've heard is that we have we have Spider-Man climbing. He's really kind of doing his walk around, but also we have reportedly we're going to see some spider sense, and we do have spider sense. With a lot of people kind of question, like, do we have spider sense with this new thing? I don't know if this is been overcompensating for all the rumors of that Spider-Man doesn't have a spider sense or not, but I think it sounds like a really cool thing in footage of something really bad is coming. So how do we show that in the Marvel universe? Through Spider-Man with a spider sense that tells you something bad's coming. That's kind of a neat idea. Mm-hmm. Maybe that'd be maybe why they're saving a visual expression of the spider sense, because right now it's always been internalized in the MCU version of it. Sure. Let's see. We have a bearded Cap, reportedly.
Yes. Oh my God.
And Chris Evans does like to sport the beard.
He does.
He does. So I guess they're
Snowpiercer for one.
Of course. Reportedly, we have a blonde Black Widow.
A blonde, yeah. It kind of reminds me of Atomic Blonde.
It kind of reminds me of, in the comics, we've had a few Black Widows, and there's one with blonde here that Deadpool had a relationship with. And I think it was it was a flirtation, I should say. It wasn't even a relationship. That kind of reminded me of that a little bit. It's really funny. And we have two big money shots. One, Thanos throws a planet.
Yes, a planet. Oh my God.
I was reading about that. That sounds awesome.
I'm imagining that you're right, Jake. That sounds insanely cool. And a part of me imagines Peter Quill would have a great line to that, saying, "Oh, my dad was a planet." Yes. Oh my God. That to me would be really funny. If he was an offhanded line commenting on the planet thing. My dad was a planet. I wonder who would that go.
Oh my God. I didn't even make that connection until now, Dragon. That's priceless.
Great.
Oh my God.
We have I guess one additional shot before we reach the last real big kind of awesome shot. That we see reportedly we have Loki with the Tesseract. So the Tesseract in its cube-like form. I've seen a shot of this. I've seen two shots. So I've seen that, and I saw the Hulkbuster armor.
Oh, okay.
And again, the Hulkbuster armor is referenced. So basically, all the stuff referenced in Homecoming is absolutely stuff we're going to see in Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Those three items. And then the shot that has me jazzed out of my mind and kind of feeding into one of my theories with Infinity War, but still just, oh my god, such a great shot. I'm dying to see this shot. Is Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet punching Iron Man in the face. Like,
Yes.
oh my god, that sounds so amazing.
So, who would always like to see that about Iron Man being punched in the face? I mean,
There's also one other important shot that you didn't mention, Dragon, that I heard about.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
There's going to be a shot of Tony Stark cradling a very, very injured-looking Peter Parker, importantly, in the Iron Spider suit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's amazing.
Yeah.
and even supposedly says, and Spider-Man even apparently says, "I'm sorry, Tony."
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Again, I'm hoping they don't.
It's shaping up to look like the movie Marvel always wanted to make.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope we don't get Morales too early with like shots like that. That's the thing that's making me worry. That like again, we've only
Homecoming 2 is just going to be the Morales movie.
that's the stuff that makes me worry. That's the sort of stuff.
That'd be ballsy. That'd be super
And
ballsy
that would mean
to have
that-
Peter Parker in 3 Marvel movies and that's it.
Also think about it, because in that same year after Infinity War, we're going to have the Miles Morales animated movie. Then
That's true.
Like, in the future, we'll have that. I don't know. I'm hoping we don't get rid of them that fast, personally. But anyway. Let's see. Also,
I'm pretty sure we're going to get this trailer sooner rather than later. Like,
But Comic-Con, San Diego, probably.
And by the very least, if we don't get it in San Diego, by the very least, we'll get it before Thor comes out.
Sure.
I mean, it comes out. I mean, it comes out next year.
Yeah, right.
If we don't get it by then, I think it's a very, very safe bet we'll get it with Star Wars.
Sure.
I'm saying that's like the latest.
I'd be shocked if we didn't get it with Thor, though. I'd be surprised if we didn't get it with Comic-Con.
I had the weirdest thing when I saw the real quick, guys. I don't want to take long because there's one other Infinity War thing I got to hit before we move on. Is that when I saw Spider-Man: Homecoming, I saw it twice, and I only saw it the first time in a Dolby theater. Dolby Atmos. They had trailers and stuff at the beginning, and I was waiting the whole time to see Black Panther and like in Dolby. It's like, oh, gosh, it's gonna be so cool. It's like the ding 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 at the end. And there was not a Marvel trailer there. They had Justice League, but no Marvel trailers.
That's funny.
There's just those, yeah. Anyway,
Homecoming, I've gotten both Thor and Black Panther.
Yeah. Let's see. We also have we had a big revelation, a big reveal. I had a really cool booth where Josh Brolin was coming there holding like a prop of the awesome looking Infinity Gauntlet, and it was like a detailed one too, because you could see it which Infinity Gem was where, like on the pinky, it's the Soul Gem in the center. It's it's cool.
Apparently, they also had like this giant, this life tattoo of Thanos, and also a bunch of also him surrounded by his other children.
Yes, the Black Order, the children of Thanos. Essentially, if I'm getting it right, I would presume that these are like kind of the other siblings of Gamora and Nebula.
Now, is Hela going to be the stand-in for Lady Death in this movie?
You know
what?
what?
We don't know what happens to her in Ragnarok.
I'm just asking.
Tiki,
that's a little bit. I'm sorry, Dragon. Go ahead.
Well, Tiki, I gotta tell you, I didn't really consider it. That's a good idea. But there's no reason they wouldn't have the rights to Lady Death, though. So I don't know. I'm just saying because Deadpool. Obviously, it's easy to tell who's going to win in this sort of fight. Who's going to get who's going to get Lady Death, Infinity War, or Deadpool, because she's also a Deadpool character. But I think it's very simple to say, okay, Infinity War has more cachet, and she does very much factor into that story. So I think it's a safe bet, Lady Death in there. But I do like kind of the. I think the Hell idea was also be like a good substitution if they wanted to go at least a different direction. But again, we'll see. But yeah, the Black Order. We have like essentially 4 people surrounding Thanos, and interestingly, Thanos is like without the gauntlet, without kind of his classic armor in the middle there. So maybe we'll see kind of like an uprising of Thanos somewhere in the movie with like kind of a stand, like the really cool detailed statues kind of behind Josh Brolin. It's like Corvus Glave. Again, a lot of these names are really hard to pronounce. You gotta forgive me. And I'm not too familiar with the children of Thanos, aside from Gamora and Nebula. We have Proxima Maxima. That's the female of the group. We have Ebony Maw. We have Black Dwarf, who might be called Obsidian, but Black Dwarf is like the really cool Hulk kind of statured one. So it's the really cool reveal that basically these guys. It's been reported these guys are going to be really the muscle behind Thanos fighting the Avengers.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Okay. So let's transition to the Disney Parks panel. I want to go over one brief piece of news that I didn't cover last night, and that's that Walt Disney World is going to be getting a gondola transportation system.
Huh?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sky cabins. What?
I'm sorry, world or land?
World. Disney
Okay.
World. Yeah. I'm not sure exactly when that's coming, but yeah, it should be something to look forward to. Hopefully make transportation in that resort easier. But yeah, let's get to the parks panel. Of course, they started off with Star Wars Land. So you like Star Wars? Now, of course,
new ground.
Of course, with the park stuff, me, Jacob, and Sandy kind of went over it in detail. So I'm mostly curious to get Dragon's take on all this. So, Dragon, how do you feel about, like, you know, like I said, I'm like the Millennium Falcon and the Star Destroyer ride sound great. I'm more interested in kind of the RPG-ish, like putting you in the middle of a story type thing they're going with when you're walking around the actual land.
Well, for a moment, just to address the Millennium Falcon thing, I kind of called what I thought they were going to do with that. You're going to have like multiple positions in the Falcon, and I mean that in itself is kind of cool. I love the idea of connect. I bring it up for a reason here. I like that we're connecting like kind of how you do on that to this bounty hunter. Like, I think that's a great idea. Like if you know the RPG type quality in that.
It just reminds me of Westworld so much. It's like they have a villain hiding out in the mountains. They have heroes who are recruiting you to go help them find the villain. It's just I'm getting such a Westworld vibe off of this.
Tell me if we have any details on this, Tiki. The bounty hunters in question, will they be like styled after the bounty hunters we've seen in Star Wars? Basically, you could be chased by any different variety of like. You could be
it's not going to be like
Fett,
it's not going to be an iconic character like a Boba Fett or an IG-88 or anything like that.
Yeah. How cool would that be though if you were chased by Boba Fett or
it's going to be an original character, actually.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a neat. That's a neat.
And there's actually several original characters within the fabric of Star Wars Land. One of them is going to be one of them makes a deal with Chewie to help him get off the planet, and that's the basis for the Millennium Falcon ride. Mm-hmm. Like that new character, I forget what his name is. It's going to be an alien. Anyways.
Anyway, I'll tell you this, Stig. I gotta tell you, I think that's a really brilliant move for what they're aiming for with the Star Wars Land.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
It's kind of like, and you guys mentioned this a little bit, so I'll come over here and kind of explain myself. It's kind of like how we're bringing back Captain Rex. You know, Captain Rex, the Paul Rubens character from the original Star Tours.
I think that was definitely like the big bomb drop of the whole park panel presentation was bringing back Captain Rex.
I'm not entirely sure how. I know you really like this, Steve. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about his position. I mean, I like that we brought him back, so I'll just take what I can get with him. So,
I like his position as a DJ because it makes sense for the design of the character because he's got all those arms.
Yeah, I mean, when you bring it up like that, I think, still, I don't know. Just I loved him as a captain so much, and I don't know. I like see.
But why? But think about it, Dragon. In the context of the Star Wars canon, he was a terrible captain. No one's ever going to let him near the cockpit of a Star Cruiser again.
You're right, and that's the brilliance of giving him.
Yeah, right.
Yes, you're right about that. It's what I'm getting at is like with an original character like that from Star Wars that you and I can talk. Many people can speak to about that, like having fun memories of a character like that. And we're kind of doing that for the next generation with this kind of this new lens. Basically, you'll be able to go to. Walk away from your experience at Disney saying, from Star Wars, and oh my God, we have like our own adventure going on there, all these fun little characters, and it makes even great sense from a merchandising standpoint. Of like if you sold a memorabilia based on those original characters, and again, you have like a whole other sect of merchandising that is exclusive to a Disney park.
Right.
So again, it sounds like a really smart move. I'm behind it. So sounds very intriguing, and hopefully the characters and the storyline and connecting them through a story like that. Transportation with like certain characters, and then being like I don't want to just like talk circles about it here, but again, it sounds like a really good move. I'm thrilled with it, honestly.
Okay, now let's get to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
This I'm not so thrilled about.
You're not so thrilled about it, really.
Look. Let me address this. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but I'm just saying personally, I really don't like it. And that's I love the Great Movie Ride, and this is happening in Florida, right?
You know, I feel like I should be the person who's the most upset about the Great Movie Ride thing because it's closing. Like I'm going to Florida next year, and it's closing before I'm going to get a chance to go on it.
It said resorts. Resorts counts for Florida, right?
It's Disney World. Yes. Here's the thing, though, guys. I think I am like more than welcoming of this because I think this is a classic example of Disneyland will never be complete. You know, this feels like a very natural evolution in the park to me.
And again, as a ride, it sounds like just two things about it. Again, bum me out. I'm really just genuinely bummed at the fact that I'm never going to get the ride a final time now, especially. Is that,
I'm never going to get to ride it at all. So that
I was the first, actually the first ride I rode when I was in Disney World.
Lucky you. Nice.
I'm saying I rode this thing way before it was Disney Hollywood Studios. I rode this thing back when it was MGM. That's what I'm saying. I got a connection with this ride, and it's like seeing an old friend kind of bite the dust. It's like,
no, I hear you. It's just one of those things where
I haven't been. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, I mean, I do think that what it's replacing is just going to be worth it, though, because I think I think the Mickey ride sounds like a game changer to me.
Yeah, it's not like they're swapping it out for some Marvel ride or anything.
Right.
I've been this bummed out.
They're actually swapping out something that makes sense for the park.
Mm-hmm.
Because Disney Hollywood, as I mentioned yesterday, Hollywood Studios is it's always struggled to find its identity for being MGM, then Hollywood, and now it's rumored now they're trying to rebrand it again. So it's always this could be like as I mentioned yesterday, it could be the linchpin of this new park.
Exactly.
I haven't been this bummed since and I believe it's even in the same Disney Hollywood Studios since they in Florida since they got rid of the Art of Animation exhibit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my favorite set. That was my favorite part of that park. And then they're doing it it wasn't like probably next would be Star Tours, but then third is this.
Well, like I said, I don't want to concentrate on the controversy of what's closing it, what's replacing it. I am definitely of the opinion that I think it's worth it. Like I said, I think everything we've heard about this ride sounds incredible to me.
Yeah, just to again, I'm bummed for personal reasons. Looking objectively at it, again, it does seem like a fun idea. I do have one reservation that again, I don't know how it's not entirely personal, but it's a concern maybe to bring up is that I think they may be going a little too modern with the version of Mickey that I know you guys really love the shorts. I get that. I'm just saying I don't know. I think selling after something so recent with the Mickey shorts. I don't know if that's maybe the direction to go with. I think they should go a little bit more classic Mickey. I know it's styled after classic Mickey.
I think the good thing about using the new shorts is that the new shorts kind of allow Mickey to be in it allows Mickey to be a little bit more rambunctious than he would be if he was just classic Mickey. That's the thing about the new shorts that we really like is that it really brings the Mickey character and everyone else kind of back to their more sort of rapscallion kind of roots.
You know, my Mickey always has been when I think kind of like Mickey Mouse, I always kind of think of my era of Mickey Mouse. I guess it's always been kind of the House of Mouse era, like the clips, not the host, not the nightclub, but, the clips we get in the little shorts we get in House of Mouse.
You mean the Mouseworks stuff?
Yeah, those are the ones. That's kind of my wheelhouse of Mickey, where it's sort of it's like he is rambunctious enough in that. Basically, he's a nice, kind-hearted guy, but also he'll get in the shenanigans. But again, he'll always kind of do the right thing in the end. So that's kind of like a blend of kind of what you're going for there. It's kind of classic, and it's sort of like it's a little bit rambunctious, but all around kind of still your Americana right there.
I think now, I would love to see that, but I think now, if they do that now, it would just. Honestly, it would just remind me of what's Mickey's Playhouse or whatever, because that's the design they use for that. You know.
Right. Well, again, I we'll see how it plays out. I'm just saying I could see that as a concern possibly. I honestly it'd be something only bother maybe if diehard Disney fans or people who just may not like that version of it. But again, I think to the general public, they're probably gonna eat it up. But
I'm really stoked for the theme song. I've heard comparisons to Grim Ghosts and Yo Ho.
Oh,
well, and one of the coolest things though is that a lot of the stuff they're doing is actually they actually learn a lot of the people who worked on the new Mickey Mouse shorts, including Paul Rudish, the guy who created and directed it, some of the artists, and even the guy who did the music, Christopher Willis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, I hope the best for it, and I hope it turns into something good. I'm just personally, I don't know, it's going to take me a lot for me to warm up to this from just given, what's replacing and just given how it's, again, like, not like saying it's a bad ride or anything, just, again, first of all, it hasn't even been built yet. But,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter to me if it's Mickey. Well, it's a bonus, actually. But what makes it cool to me is that it's basically interactive two-dimensional animation in a 3D space.
Yeah, no, that's what. Yes, Jake. I mean, that's the great idea of like behind the concept of the ride. It sounds nice. They've been super. I really have to watch them all the way through. But I mean, the shorts I've seen, sometimes they're hit or miss for me. The new Mickey shorts. That's kind of why I'm not like giddy over the moon for it, and of course other personal stuff. But again, it's good. It's it. The story for the ride does sound neat.
Okay. All right, so let's transition to Toy Story Land just very quickly. Not really a lot to touch on here. It's going to be opening summer 2018. No official opening date yet, much to Monkey's dismay, because Monkey's trying to plan a trip around that time. He'd like to know the exact details of the date.
This was kind of cool to find out because I've been to this is happening in the Florida one, right?
Mm.
Yep.
So I've been to the Pixar / mainly it's Toy Story when I was there, and I think it's still just it has like the Pixar gates, which just thrilled me out of my mind. It's like, oh my god, it's close to every
right, yeah.
And essentially, it's they had Toy Story Mania, and I knew going to Midway Mania, I think it was at this time on one of the re-releases of Toy Story, they had like a little bonus feature about the development of Toy Story Land in. At the time, it was like I think they started in Paris and now they've gone to Hong Kong. Hong Kong, and I think now they're developing in Shanghai. So, they're going all over the place with the Toy Story Land kind of section.
Mm.
And with that, basically, I saw what they were developing, and basically, like they had like a little layout, kind of like they had like kind of the artist rendering of like what the park will be, and basically giving you like the scale of a toy. Is what they were going for, and I saw kind of the ideas they had for rides. And essentially, this is just confirmation of what those ideas in development were. Basically, the two rides I was aware of, and I think based on they had some sort of footage that you can see, some sort of footage of like a work in progress. And it was a really neat little thing where they had like they had the Green Army Men, so the mascots of the land. Going out there as a little promotional thing, like the Army Men, using the code phrases like Motherbird and Lightyear and all sorts of that. And basically, they're going to have an RC roller coaster. Basically, an RC thing. It's like one of those Viking boat rides. Basically, it goes like from all the way one. You have like
not exactly, Dragon. It's a type of coaster that I've actually been on before. What it is, it's called a half pipe coaster.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yes. I was thinking like the boat thing, but you're right though. That's better. You go from one end in RC, and then you go for the other, and it basically gets faster and stuff, and like it's made to look like the Hot Wheel track, which is neat. And also the Slinky kind of the jostling Slinky ride, which I know that one's been in development another place, and I've always been wondering every time I went down there, it's like. This is great. I mean, it looks great, but when are they going to get the other stuff I saw in development over there?
Right.
When is that going to do? So it's nice that it's finally on its way. So that's kind of cool.
All right, so let's talk about Epcot really quick. I guess the announcement that was very predictable but still very appropriate for the park is that we are getting a Ratatouille sub area with the Ratatouille Dark Ride from Disneyland Paris in the French Pavilion of the World Showcase. So looking forward to that. I've heard good things about it. It's a trackless dark ride, and trackless dark rides are always well-renowned in the Disney genre. But most importantly, we are getting a brand new Guardians of the Galaxy attraction at Epcot,
I heard
replacing Ellen's Energy Adventure.
I had an idea. You guys brought this up, and I'm surprised you didn't bring this up, so I'm gonna add to it. So your idea, basically, you're saying it might have been like an educational ride?
More or less, yeah.
And here's my idea for it. I'm surprised you guys didn't think of is that it's very simply the reason that education ride would be perfect for the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's Star-Lord, going to Epcot. You said the thing about Star-Lord having experience in Epcot, so he likes Epcot,
which is the big basis for the whole attraction. Yeah, they even showed like a a picture of a young Star-Lord in front of like the 1980s spaceship Earth.
Which is cool, and here's what you do. Star-Lord is explaining Earth customs as well as just, Epcot to the Guardians.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
And that's your premise for the ride. And you'd have constant things like, Drax raising questions about, like, what is this? Quote, I am Groot. And just then Rock is, not only translating, but also saying, this is stupid. What are we doing here? And then by the end, he's like having a great time.
And I can only imagine Drax saying, like, I didn't realize Earth was a spaceship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's endless comedic possibilities for that, and it's, I think it'd be really cool.
I just really, really, really want the joke where, like, basically the little boats thing, Dragon, where Star-Lord's just like, oh, I can't wait to go on Horizon.
Oh, yeah, that idea. I loved it when you did mention that, though. I'm surprised you didn't bring up, like, just Star-Lord giving the basic explanation, explaining it to him. But yeah, all the stuff he's missed out on.
And I'm very curious about this attraction because, of course, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, but this is by no way, shape, or form going to be a clone of that, the Tower of Terror version. Like, this is going to be, I'm imagining, a much more large scale than Mission Breakout is, because Mission Breakout is essentially just a series of vignettes. Like, I'm picturing this is going to have, like, full-blown set pieces with animatronics and everything like that.
I do hope that they they still work in the actors from the movie like the other one did, like Mission Breakout.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean that's a reason to go to Epcot. I usually never have a reason to go to Epcot. So, I mean, it's,
God, oh that's mean. Jeez. Oh wow.
In my experience, I rarely have ever been to Epcot.
I am stoked for Epcot, sir.
I'm not saying it's. I'm just saying, I think it's like the other one's better.
Even Hollywood Studios?
Especially Hollywood Studios. Again, Hollywood Studios is debatably my favorite.
Ooh, no. Hollywood Studios is going to be by far the one that I spend the least amount of time in when I go there. Because especially now that Great Movie Ride's going to be closed, I'm only going to be going to Hollywood Studios for Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. Like, that's it for me. And Muppet Vision, I guess. Anyways, so yeah, let's talk about, let's round off the park discussion with the, oh, by the way, Dragon, also another thing to bring up before the Avengers. What do you think of Pixar Pier, Dragon?
Pixar Pier?
Yeah, this is first you're hearing about it. Pixar Pier is going to be like, they're basically like reskinning Paradise Pier and California Adventure to Pixar. So all the rides are going to have a Pixar theme.
Well, that's cool. Any specifics?
No, there's not really any specifics right now.
Yay, Pixar. Okay.
I'm just not a fan of the idea because they just rethemed Paradise Pier a few years ago.
Oh, did they? What did they retheme it to?
It basically, like, it's much more like classic Victorian style, and like they themed it basically to classic Disney. Like, there's a silly symphony swings, and there's a goofy Sky School that's done in the style of, like, it's a Wild Mouse that's done in the style of a goofy how-to short, which is really fun. Okay. And yeah, all that's going to go away because it's Pixar now. But anyways, I don't want to dwell on it. So let's talk about the big Marvel announcements, which they basically didn't announce any details, just the fact that it existed. But the Avengers...
They explained the Avengers hatch.
Yeah. And the Avengers, obviously, we all kind of knew that was coming. That's definitely going to be the e-ticket. I think the big surprise, like, I even pitched this for the park back when we were kind of speculating about other things that Marvel could do. I didn't expect it, though. I was not expecting a Spider-Man ride.
Neither was I. Now, this is a big revelation because, now Universal is going to be sweating a lot more.
Exactly.
I tell you this, I don't know, I'm sure there's like stuff they already have, but just seeing the image of Spider-Man and the MCU Captain America, especially the MCU Captain America, oh man, it looks cool.
Yeah, I just, my one big hope for the Spider-Man ride is, I haven't rode the one in Florida yet. I'm going to be experiencing the ride technology of the one in Florida soon because I'm going to be going down to Universal Hollywood in October, and I'll be riding Transformers then, which is the same basic technology. But my hope for this, though, is that they use as little screens as possible and as many animatronics and physical sets as possible just to differentiate it from the version in Florida.
Right.
I also think it'd be interesting if they had this movie have like a main villain that we haven't seen before in the movies. like, I don't know, like, let's say, like, you know, like a B-lister, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, off the top of my head, let's say someone like, oh, gosh.
Well, unfortunately, we don't want to retread what the other ride's done, because I would say Hydra Man, but unfortunately, Hydra Man is in the other ride. You know, he's in the Universal ride.
Hydro Man would be a good choice, though.
I know, exactly. He's honestly, Hydra Man is the go-to B-lister, because he's Ant-Man, but he's water. That's what he is. He's
what about the Beetle?
You know, the Beetle's kind of... Yeah, but the Beetle kind of bridges an Iron Man villain, but which would make sense for Homecoming. Actually, yeah, Beetle.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That makes sense. Okay. If we stress a little bit of Iron Man, Spider-Man, a little bit there, then we could do it.
I kind of remember Beetle from the Ultimate Spider-Man video game.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's have Beetle as the main villain.
That works. I mean, it would make sense in this new Marvel context where, you know, having villains that kind of breach a little bit of all sorts all over the MCU.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I could buy that.
Okay. Any other thoughts on Spider-Man or the Avengers? Dragon? Anything you specifically want to see?
Oh, one more thing with Spider-Man. If they really want to get ambitious, oh wait, no, we had in the other one. Never mind. I was going to say Hobgoblin, but you know, we already had that in the other. Right. Anyway. But yeah, so on the whole, I mean, again, like 3 words, 4 words, Captain America. Crap. 3 words, Captain America Museum.
Oh God. That would be great as the queue for the Avengers ride. I could see that.
Oh my God, I'd love that.
Dragon, any predictions for the Avengers ride?
All
I know is that I'm dying to see a full-scale Hulk animatronic. Like, that's something I've been wanting to see forever.
That would be neat. But at the very least, it'd be really cool if we had an animatronic Hulk Buster armor.
True. I mean, it'd be great if we saw an animatronic Hulk versus animatronic Hulk Buster.
Oh yeah, you don't push animatronics so far. But honestly, here's the question of it. I think, well, the question, if we start in Avengers Tower or we do the new Avengers location that's been established in the MCU currently, so if they're going kind of the very beginning of things.
I've heard rumors, like, this has not been confirmed at all, but I've actually heard rumors that the Avengers Tower is going to be converted into the Baxter Building.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Again, not confirmed whatsoever, so don't take my word on it. But I've heard some murmurings of that.
And where is this again? Where's the Baxter Building going to be turned to the Avengers Tower?
In the MCU.
Oh, you mean in the movies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the building was sold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be great. That'd be a great way to sneak him in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing somehow in a park or something.
No.
God, in the movies. Yeah. Oh man, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this though. Here, they won't do this, but if they did this, I think this would be a great thing, and this would be a way of kind of working Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
If we did the Watcher thing, the Watcher was kind of your gateway into various other Marvel attractions.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Basically, what if the Watcher gave you a tour of the MCU?
Yeah, Stanley needs to make a cameo in the attraction.
I mean, Stan Lee definitely made a cameo in the Tower of Terror. So yeah, just have Stan Lee cameo in every attraction. Yeah.
But I mean, that would make sense. So if not Stanley as your main guide, then just kind of work him in there on the sides, like a Watcher is kind of telling you what's going on, and he's basically giving you a tour through.
Would we get a Stanley meet and greet character?
Imagine this. This is just pure silliness, but imagine this parade of nothing but Stanleys.
Oh my God!
All the different. Well, now that we've gotten Guardians, we can't do this. But it's like an army of like all the different Stanleys and all different costumes for the.
Oh man!
Like to a chorus of X. We can use the Merry Marvel Marching Society music for this.
I got it. The Hall of Stans.
Oh God.
Like Stan of the Month, like all the idea is like we have all these cast members, but they all are Stan Lee, and they're all like like Employee of the Month or something.
Oh my God! Wow!
Then the Hall President's the Hall of Stan.
Okay, guys. So I think after that silliness, we've kind of reached the peak of the podcast here. So what I want to do is just go round table.
Can't you stand it?
Yeah, I want to go round table. And just final thoughts, and also I'm curious, what was the biggest highlight for you of this year's D23? Let's start with Sandy.
Oh, I think if I had to choose one, can I have two or
no?
Just one?
Just one. In the immortal words of Spider-Man, Sandy, everybody only gets one. Isn't that right, Peter? Well, apparently everyone only gets one.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be Spider-Man or anything. I'd have to say it's probably the Mickey ride.
All right.
I mean, if I were to pick one, I don't want. That definitely is a highlight for me as well. But I don't want to retread the same thing. But going in a different direction, I'd probably say Kingdom Hearts 3.
Nice.
Oh, we didn't really mention that, did we?
No, I just didn't really think you had much to say about it besides just the trailer.
But I'm sorry, I forgot.
The trailer,
yeah, go on.
Trailer and release window.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that'd probably be not to retread anything you guys are gonna say. I'm gonna go with Kingdom Hearts 3, the Toy Story trailer, and releasing in 2018.
Okay. Any final thoughts from either Sandy or Jacob on just D23 in general?
This is a killer year for some of the stuff they announced. So
I really think this was a super successful D23 this year. Disney should win.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe not in terms of the crowd control situation. We'll hear from Monkey on that part. I've heard some horror stories about the crowd control situation, but just in terms of the actual panels, it's a big success.
and also another. If we're going to go with video games, the new Spider-Man game from Insomniac.
Oh, yeah. That was the same one that was announced for E3, right? Right, Jacob? Yep. Oh, God, That game looks incredible.
It does.
Oh, my God. That game might be the thing that gets me to buy a PS4. Anyways.
Moving on.
Okay, for me, I would say my highlight, if I can't say the Mickey Mouse ride, let me just say, just the introduction of the 2.5D technology is awesome. Just all the details for Star Wars Land, the model, just the world building, the RPG element, how it feels like a Westworld type of thing. Just all the details for Star Wars Land that they laid out, really, really made me excited and made me think that Disney is just going in a bold and incredibly ambitious direction with it. And I also love the name Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as well. I'm going to have to get used to not calling it Star Wars Land, but I think Galaxy's Edge is a great name for it. So, all right.
Pretty badass.
And yeah, in terms of my final thoughts for the the event in general, like I said, I think this might be the most exciting D23 I've ever been a part of. Maybe that's just because I've been following it more closely than I have the other years. That might be, we've done more podcasts about it, because usually we've just done a podcast, one podcast just wrapping everything up. This year we made sure to do one each day. So that might be a big thing. But yeah, just everything, all the panels, like I said, my little mental breakdown over The Incredibles 2 notwithstanding, I think I've got to say, I think the animation panel was probably the weakest of the three main ones, but I think both the live action panel and the Disney Parks panel were great and had a lot of really good stuff in them. Of course, with the live action panel, I'd like to actually see the footage. The Lion King and Mary Poppins footage sounds very tantalizing, but we can't see it yet. It was nice.
The most they have Mary Poppins is basically a video of Emily Blunt turning around.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Having said that, it was nice that they at least released the Star Wars sizzle reel. Thank God. But yeah, I like props to Disney. The Disney Legends Awards, while maybe a little bit off the beaten path when it comes to getting people directly related to the company. As Dragon said, Stan Lee had one of the most touching moments in his entire career as a public speaker, which is saying something. Yeah, just overall a very, very good event, and I can't wait to get Monkey's take on it when he comes on early next week to talk about his experience going today. All right, Dragon, end us out.
All right. For my favorite moment, if I had to pick one, it's very easily it's the Stan Lee Disney Legends acceptance speech. The real acceptance speech. On the whole, I love the Disney Legends thing, but again, Stan Lee just kind of stole it for me. I would love to say it's the Infinity War, but unfortunately, again, no footage. Bridging off of that, in terms of how this was D23 on whole. Again, I wish to God you could see the footage. But again, I don't think it was the most amazing in terms of the film revelations. But I think they really, I was really impressed by how they came with a plan for with the parks. I think they really laid out everything really well. They
Oh yeah, I would say if anything, this is by far the most exciting parks presentation they've ever gave.
It wasn't exactly we had some cool stuff with the movies, but again, I'm not trying to hold the footage thing over too much with that. But I'm just saying that's just a part of how D23 runs. Exactly,
D23 is more about getting the word out there and getting the conversation started than it is about actually like they kind of play the long game with the D23 footage, right? Like hearing about it but not seeing it only makes you like more interested in it. Anyways, go ahead.
Well, I mean, regardless, just with the film stuff on the whole, again, it wasn't like what the most mind. I don't know, it just didn't wow me as much as the previous years in that regard. But again, I'm so impressed by how they the plans and the kind of the design work on the parks. And again, for me, still on the whole, the Disney Legends with the highlight for me. Still on the whole, it was a solid D23, very solid D23.
Cool. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this epic 3-night event covering D23 and 4 podcasts, including the ridiculous practical joke podcast Monkey and I did. And Monkey and I will be back, like I said, for a far more serious podcast where we will be talking about Monkey's experiences. All I know is that the highlight for him was meeting Jim Cummings. So we'll hear about that and much more. So yeah. In the meantime, folks, I don't know, stay classy. Betrayal!
You like Star Wars?
Betrayal!
You like Star Wars?
Betrayed me! This game sucks!